make sure that all the sound is good. There's no feedback.
Yeah.
There's no loopiness. I want to make sure my music is not too loud.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome. So once again, wellness, where we provide wellness. Because right now, a lot of people are dealing with money being tight, resources scarce. And so we just wanted to, we were talking and it was like, when I was little, I didn't really, I wasn't really present to the fact that we didn't have a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Because like my mother, my father, they were so like creative and handy and they always just made a way out of nothing. So I didn't really feel the impact of that as a child, What about you, Queen?
I can definitely relate. Like, I didn't know that we were like, we didn't have, we always had, because, yeah, like you, my parents, they were very, very resourceful. So we always had when I guess we didn't to them, but I didn't feel a difference.
Yeah, for sure. So today we just want to share some old school tips based on how we grew up that might help you during this time. So of course, we Brooklyn, we hip hop, so we gotta set it off. Take it back to the old school. Let's take it to Union Square. Hey, let's take it back to the old school. So I'm just gonna let the instrumental run. Shout out to Greg Nice from Nice and Smooth. I think music is healing, music is therapeutic during this time. And it just keeps me in a certain vibration, So I'm just gonna let the music run underneath. If it's not too loud, if it's too loud, just let me know. But we want to start with some old school tips. Okay, I got one. I remember, well, first of all, water, like everybody's buying up water. When I go to the supermarket now, I think you can only buy like 2 gallons of water at a time, right? But my mother used to boil water. Did your mother boil water, Tracy? I can't hear you, Queen.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yes, definitely. That's what we did. We boiled water, and I'm gonna be honest with you. There was times like where when I myself, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I ran out of water. I was like, oh, I remember I used to boil water, and that's what I did. Yeah.
Right. You boil water, put it in like a glass jar, let it sit, obviously a mason jar, so it's heat proof, and let it sit, and you've got your room temperature boiled water. Can you think of another like old school hack that your family used to do?
I remember making toothpaste.
Making toothpaste?
Yes. Yeah, we used to take some peroxide and some baking soda.
Baking soda! That's right.
And mix it, and then my mom would put a little peppermint in it. And so yeah, I remember that. And I used to be like, oh, I don't like this. This is nasty. Da, 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 da. But actually, when you think about it, it didn't have any sugar in it. Most toothpaste now, it has sugar in it. So it was actually healthier. But that was like, old school hack to make things.
I forgot about the toothpaste with the baking soda and peroxide, but the peppermint is a nice touch. Like I wouldn't have thought of that, but that's a good one. That's a good one. Real talk. I know people don't really buy like pantyhose and stockings anymore, but now everybody got the bonnet game on. But before we had bonnets, we had them nylon pantyhose that we would cut the legs off and put the sleeve on and tie it in a knot. And that was my, I would go to bed with the pantyhose on my head. I'm not saying you got to do that now because I know we got the bonnet game up, but that's something that I also remember.
We also actually, you know what? Speaking of pantyhose, we used to also use the pantyhose to take off your nail polish no, we used to use it in lieu of a cotton ball. And it actually works better.
That's actually a good one. So you're saying like, do people even still wear stockings? I don't really wear
knee highs and stuff. I don't think so.
But if you do, I guess that is good if you need cotton because it's like meshy, so you could use that. You could also use it as a strainer if they're clean, if they've not been worn. That's a good one. That's a really good one, actually. So yeah, you know, we're just trying to, you know, give a couple of hacks. We can even get into a couple of topics like just, you know, my mother, people used to always say, boy, you know how to stretch a dollar. You know, shout out to Rutha Mae Kearse. You know, she always knew how to stretch a dollar. And so when it comes to food, a couple of my friends were like, yo, I'm going to the supermarket, I'm buying all these snacks. And within like a couple of days, all the snacks are gone.
Right.
You know, because really a bag of potato chips now, what do you get? Like 5 chips and the bag is like this big, right?
Yeah, an airbag.
So, right. So she was saying she actually cut up onions and made some onion rings. And she also, yeah, and she also did some like put some bananas and dipped it in some flour or whatever, and made some banana fritters.
Well, that sounds good. The onion rings,
chocolate syrup, yeah. So I think we also got to get into the hacks of like hacks of snacks. You're gonna have
That's
another
a good one.
Wellness Wednesday life hacks for snacks because
wait, I got one.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
I got one. Popcorn in the skillet. You know, popcorn is cheap. It's not expensive.
Wait, you mean like in the pan?
Popcorn, the real popcorn kernels, and you put it in the skillet. I remember my mom and dad used to put it in the skillet, you know, with some oil, and we had some good old natural.
Stop it from like exploding all over the house.
I remember my mother putting the top on it and like shaking it.
That's dope. That's super old school.
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
I mean, that's old school. Yeah.
Well, the one thing I will say, a lot of people are having trouble making the meal stretch. You know, food is also an issue because people are running out of food. Supermarkets in some places are running out of food and supply. So just even taking a page out of Minister Elijah Muhammad's book in terms of eating one meal a day. You know, his book, Eat to Live, he speaks about that. And so if you're having trouble really stretching food and meals and supply, consider your largest meal, your dinner at lunchtime. One, it takes a long time for your body to digest food. So that's metabolism if you eat your largest meal at the middle of the day, but also consider having like a hearty smoothie with some almonds, bananas, some dates for sweetener, some almond milk, you know, maybe a couple of berries, maybe just a handful of spinach or some greens. And that's something that if you put enough of the quantity in the blender, you can give everyone a nice, nutritious, hearty liquid meal. Queen Afua always teaches us, have a liquid meal before your solid meal, because if you have a liquid meal first, your body's going to get the micronutrients it needs and it's not going to be as hungry. So you don't have to worry about having to fill up on that solid meal. You know, so consider having a liquid meal before the solid meal, or even just drinking a lot of water. Because I find if I drink a lot of water before I eat, I actually kind of fill up a little bit. I'm not as hungry. So there's another hack. And just on the food tip, you remember Now and Laters? You remember Now and Later?
Eat some now, save some for later.
Now, save some for later. So if you think about that, right? If you know that you're short on food, you know, you can discipline yourself where instead of piling on all the rice or piling on all the food, you know, portion yourself, eat some now, save a little bit of the leftovers for tomorrow, and just be mindful, like don't spend what's in your hand. You know, don't eat what's all in your hand if you don't have anything to back you up for the next day. The discipline will actually cause your body to adjust. It will cause your metabolism to speed up, and you'll find that you're less hungry. It does take work, but it's definitely something that's doable. I know I used to go to bed early when I was hungry sometimes, just so that I wouldn't have to think about being hungry. So I used to get a lot of rest. But then let's also talk about currency, right? So nowadays, you know, people can't get to the bank. People can't get their money. Unemployment has been, the unemployment office, I don't know if they're running out of funds. The Small Business Administration ran out of funds for loans. And so right now, money is funny for a lot of people. Payrolls are being missed. And so there's a saying in the street, fair exchange, no robbery, right?
No robbery.
I think we should go back to barter. You know, if you think about like, what is my value and what can I trade? So if you get to know your neighbors, you will find that you know, you might be able to barter and exchange. When I was little, I remember that my next door neighbor, her name was Miss Hattie, and we would go over there and borrow like a cup of rice, like just enough to make our pot of rice. Or, you know, other neighbors might come over and borrow a cup of sugar. Like, that's cliche, but that's a real thing, you know. Sometimes a roll of paper towels. So get to know your neighbors. And we know that we're in a
Mm-hmm.
space of social distancing, but a lot of our people live in communities like in the housing project where people are living in close proximity. So they know each other. And so even if it meant that I called and said, hey, you know, you got a cup of rice I can borrow, and I just leave it in a bag by the door or toss it to me, you know, there's ways we can figure that out. But what's most important is that we got to barter and exchange, you know, and really find ways to trade with each other, because we have a lot of value that we have things that people, we don't even realize have value that others might find valuable. You know what I mean, Queen?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So even like when you get to know your neighbors, like, what is your gift? Let's say that your neighbor next door is getting a lot of groceries, but you know how to cook, right? So you could also exchange your cooking services in exchange for some of the groceries. Like, hey, I'll cook that, you know, I make the mean fish dinners or whatever it is. If you know, let me have a couple of plates for my family or for myself or for my children, I'll prepare some food for you, you know? So just really tapping into your God-given power. I think this is a beautiful time to really say, what is my gift? You know, what am I bringing to the table? What is my intrinsic value that I can offer to someone else in
Right.
exchange for a resource? Because with all due respect, we just decided that money was the currency. We just decided that money was the universal exchange. But before there was any currency in between us, it was just what I had and what you had, and we were able to go back and
Yes.
forth, you know? You
It
know?
started with bartering. It started before the currency came. It started with bartering, and the currency's current circulation. So bartering is the same thing, you know. And I barter. I barter my services for in exchange for other services. I still practice bartering,
Yes, yes,
and
I can
it's
see that. And even like you might be able to sew, you know, like right now, people aren't really getting out to the laundromat. And, you know,
mhm,
I just ripped my pants the other day because I'm wearing the same stuff. So I'm recycling it a lot. And so,
mhm,
you know, if I had somebody, I mean, I didn't have a needle and thread. I do know how to sew and fix my things. But the point is that you might be somebody that knows how to sew. Or more importantly, how about this one? When I was little, I used to go to the store for elders in the building, and I would get a little change or they would buy me something, right? So they would say, oh, could you go
right.
to the store for me? So right now, there's a lot of seniors, a lot of elders that can't get to the grocery store, that may need you to run to the
Mhm,
pharmacy for them to get medication or just to go to the post office. So even that could be, you know, in exchange for a meal, in exchange for a couple of
mhm.
dollars. You know, and it also, the beautiful thing about barter is it's a real give and take. It's like a spiritual exchange, like you're giving something meaningful from yourself. And it has so much more
Right.
power than just, I'm not
Mhm.
saying that, you know, currency is not the order of the moment, but I'm saying that there's so much spiritual depth and meaning when I give something that comes from within my soul, you know, within my natural ability, you know?
Mhm.
So.
Yes.
Wait, I got a ghetto one, right? So everybody was talking about these do-it-yourself masks, and I think I left it. I didn't even bring it with me, but so we, you know, we were reading something that said that a lot of these masks, you know, they have different levels of filtration. So, you know, yes, you got to cover yourself and do the best that you can, but N95 obviously is the best and it's needed for the essential workers. But if you took a panty liner, a clean one, obviously, or cut up a That's it. And you know how they were telling people, like, you know, you put the cloth and you fold it. So as you're folding it, if you put the liner and take some like tea tree oil or eucalyptus and put it on the liner and then fold the fabric again and put it over, what happens is that you're getting the filtration of the eucalyptus
Mm,
or the tea tree as a disinfectant, as an antiseptic to also infiltrate virus and germs. So laugh if
I
you
like that
want.
one.
And I'm not
That's
saying
a good
put that
one
on your face. I'm saying with those do-it-yourself
Right.
masks, or even with the masks that have a pocket, you can put the liner in the pocket, but put the oil on it. That way it won't be on your skin, but you'll at least be filtering as you're breathing. So laugh if you want, but I guarantee you.
I gotta see that one. I gotta see that one. I gotta see that one.
All right, so you know what? Next week we're gonna try it. Let's make a bet that next week we're gonna get some fabric, we're gonna get some liners, and we're gonna do it. All right, and just show the people. You know, a lot of people silly, but you laugh because I think a part of you is like, you know, that actually might kind of make sense, right?
I'm not mad at putting the essential oils on the mask, because I do that, but. Right. When I do it, it's like directly, like I put it on my daughter's mask. She's like, oh my gosh. She was like, it's too strong. Because I was like, yes. Look, I just put it on. Yes. But a filter, I like that. That's a good idea. Okay.
So, all right. You know, but those were just like some warm-ups. You know, we really are here to just talk about like how to make it when money is tight, right? And we always talk about money being an energy, right? MONEY, my own energy yield, right? So your vibrational frequency determines what you will attract, right? Because we are energetic, we are magnetic. So we talk about magnetism, we talk about being attractive, or what we attract. So we really want to talk about how to help you raise your frequency, especially in times when money is tight. Okay, so of course we got to go to our framework, because we always put it in 3 spaces: align, alkaline, refine. Say it again. Align, alkaline, refine. So,
align, alkaline, remind.
Pass it to me. Align, alkaline, remind. One more time.
Align, alkaline, remind.
Oh, wait, and Queen of Four taught us align, alkaline, remind. So yeah, you know, we want to teach you 3 things to help to raise your frequency so that you can generate some currency. And so the first thing is really getting in alignment, right? Getting in alignment really means getting your frequency right, so that you can even be clear to receive the supreme intelligence that's available to all of us to tap in and know how to get that money. You know, like I think about my mother and my father. They used to play the numbers, mostly my dad. And my mother would have a dream, and anybody that's old school knows this. You have a dream and you wake up, and then you get the little dream book, you look up what the dream means, and then you would go do what? Play that number. And real talk, people hit the number. So like my sister, shout out to Kearse. My sister is the most hitting the numbers person I know. So one minute she can have this much money, and the next minute she's like this. That comes from something in us. You know, and people can laugh at it all they want, but any of my real old schoolers out there, my true schoolers, you know what I'm talking about. It's when you're creating something out of nothing. You're so in tune with your dreams or what's coming in your mind.
Yes.
You can actually tap into that and make it manifest something. So we want to teach you how to get in alignment so you can receive that, whether it's a creative idea to start a business, or a creative, you know, idea that reminds you of something that you possess that you forgot that you could use to generate wealth and resources. So Queen, I would love for you to take us through a brief, you know, breathing, alignment, meditation exercise so we can raise our frequency and attract wealth and abundance.
Okay, yes. Let's take a brief moment. And we're going to focus on the number 5, because the 5, that number is for prosperity and abundance. So, and the color green. So we're going to take some deep breaths. The color green represents prosperity, nature. Money is green.
Yes.
And breath.
Yes. All right. Let's do it.
Take a deep breath in and breathe in on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold it for 5, because that's prosperity. And let out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in the color green, bright, bright prosperity green. Hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Queen. You know, it's so, these things are so simple, right? And we're so used to things being complicated that we like make, it's like, it's not gonna work. But where you know, what you focus on does grow. And so
Yes.
really thinking about the color green, you know, the color of money, the color of nature, the color of prosperity, the sound my chair just made, I want to go right into the alkaline. And of course, we wouldn't be talking about abundance and alkalinity if we weren't going to make a green drink, right? Because today
Yes.
it's all about using the elements, using colors, using words, using affirmations, using symbols in order for us to manifest wealth. And so
Yes.
I'm going to make a simple green drink.
Green life is the only life I know.
The only life I know. Sidebar, gotta fix my head wrap. So I'm gonna wash my hands. That's important. Even though I'm gonna put on gloves. Yo, it's so funny because I just washed my hands to put on gloves, and you know what that made me think of? The number of times that, like, if somebody was gonna come and like clean up my house or whatever, I would still tidy up a little bit.
Right.
That about. But yeah, so I'm gonna put on these gloves only because they're completely sanitary. They will protect my little nail game. I had to cut my nails, had a little ceremony for my nails. I like them so much. Anybody that knows me and checks my IG can see I was very proud of them. But now, because we have to really be resourceful, even though I just did my nails, I do want to protect them. So and I'll roast my gloves.
Dr. Bombay.
Right? So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna make a prosperity green drink, right? So Queen, I'm gonna show the ingredients and I want you to tell everybody what each thing is for, all right? So I'm gonna start with, okay, I know that's loud. I'm gonna see if I can turn it down low. It's loud. So what I'm gonna do is, that's not too bad. Let's see if I can do this quickly. So celery. Queen, talk to them about celery.
Celery is a diuretic. It's full of water. Can you hear me?
Hold on. Hi.
It's a diuretic.
I feel like it didn't make as much noise. Okay, I'm muted. Somebody mute me. So as I hold it up, just say what it does. Go ahead.
Go. Diuretic, I'm just gonna use one word because a lot of them have the same properties. Go. Flush the lungs. Yeah. It's a cooling vegetable. Cucumber, a cooling vegetable, also diuretic. Vitamin A, C, K.
Parsley.
Parsley. Antioxidant, antibacterial. It's good to freshen the breath with parsley. You know, it's always on your, when you go to restaurant. Oh, cilantro. Cilantro is also a blood cleanser and it has a lot of, it's rich in vitamin C and K. What is that? Ooh, zinc, magnesium. Oh, you got the green. Oh, it's charred.
Bridget, the dark is green. Woo!
Vitamins B. You got a lot of B's in that. The B's are good for energy. Oh, apple. Oh, you got the apples. We got the green apples. Vitamin E. Also bees, fiber, mad fiber. I didn't see that one. I didn't see it. Ginger, good for your circulatory system. Excellent for your circulatory system, as a matter of fact.
Okay, I think I wanted to make sure I didn't
work it out.
No, I wanted to make sure I didn't overflow.
Okay.
Okay. So unmute me. So that was
You're unmuted.
Crazy. Thank you. So I got my fabulous green drink. Let me see if I have my wine glass, because I usually have my wine glass. Here it is.
Okay, let's see what you got.
Got my wine glass. So I've got my money green drink. And this drink is all about prosperity. And it's not just enough. Hold on, I'm just turning this off. It's not just enough to drink the greens, but it's also about being mindful of how you put it in your body. So I have this vibrant, lush green drink, and I'm going to see that this is my abundance. This is my prosperity. This is my wealth. This is my vitality. This is my health. This is going to bring oxygen to my cells so I can tap into the supreme intelligence that I need to have clarity to know what's my next move. How can I make some money? What are my gifts? What are my talents? And so as I pour this, I'm seeing my wealth. I'm seeing my prosperity. I'm seeing my freedom. Everything that you think about has power. So I'm putting my energy and my thoughts and my power over this drink. Because if I decide that it's going to heal me and activate me and magnetize me to my wealth, then that's what it's going to do. So I'm going to take a breath of gratitude over my drink. I'm going to give thanks, honor to the ancestors who fought, who died so that I could be here today. And when I drink this drink, I'm going to see the color green. I'm going to see it going down my throat, into my lungs, into my veins. I see it just activating my mind. And next week, I might have come up with some money-making idea that I will share with you. But here is to our wealth.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, wait, what you got, Queen? What you working with?
Girl, don't worry about all of that. Oh.
All right, well, next time.
A little bit of spirulina in it.
Okay, but wait, that's what the elders would say when they drinking something you're not supposed to know. They'd be like, don't worry about what I got in my glass. But cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, wait. I think it's the cucumber and the celery that I taste the most. It's so fresh. It's like, it just like real talk. It feels so refreshing. Wow, that's like so good. So again, it was celery, a whole thing of celery, 2 cucumbers with the skin, a bunch of kale, the dark green leafy Lacento kale, cilantro. Did you mention that cilantro also removes metals from the bloodstream?
Oh, no, I did. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes. Yes.
And then the parsley, which also is an antioxidant so that you can get more oxygen and life to the body. And then of course I had lemon, ginger, and a green apple. It's so refreshing and light. And I promise you that when you drink it, like whatever you do, when you eat, everything is a prayer. Drinking is a prayer. Eating is a prayer. Dancing and singing is a prayer. Anything you do to activate yourself vibrationally in your spirit is a form of prayer. And so just taking in that life, like I still feel it, like I feel it. And because I'm really conscious of it and I'm putting my consciousness on it, it's really activating. Like, hold on a second, I gotta take another sip. Ever seen anybody with a green mustache? Whatever with the milk mustache. So that was the alkaline to activate. And that's a real thing. Like, so if you don't have all the stuff that I had, if you just have celery juice is amazing. If you just have parsley or cilantro, you can have a mono beverage and just find one thing that's green and juice it. If you can't juice it, put it in a blender with some you know, some water, and maybe a little bit of fruit, and blend it and drink it. If you can't do that, boil it and drink the juice. You can boil cilantro and drink the juice. It's really, really good for you. Like, let's just have no excuse. I can't do it. Like, work with what's in your hand. You know, that's what the elders always say. Just work with what you got. Because everything you have is exactly what you need. You know what I mean? So, Queen,
Yes,
I
I
think
understand that.
yeah, yeah. Did you want to expand on that?
Yeah, let me expand because there might be some people that don't have a juicer, a blender, nada. So even if you get some cucumbers, I'm bringing up cucumbers because you can get 5 for
Right.
$2.
Cucumbers are
Even if
easy.
you can take cucumbers easy, you know, you can go, you know, anywhere and get cucumbers and slice them up and add a little vinegar on it and
Yes.
just, you know,
Yes.
say your affirmations and what you want, like that'll
Yes.
work as well.
That's a
That'll
good
work.
one. Just chop up some cucumbers, and I buy the organic cucumbers. I try to eat as much organic as I can. But even if you can't get organic, just clean the skin really good. But know that like the skin has a lot of the nutrients. You know, we have really disrespected vegetables, using them as garnish, like they don't matter. You know what I'm saying? And that is actually life that needs to go into the body. So you get the cucumbers, you slice them up. Like she said, put a little vinegar, apple cider vinegar, organic with the mother, you know, your little pink Himalayan sea salt, and just pop them. And just as you're taking it in, you'll feel the water from the cucumbers going into the body. Just give thanks. You know, the one thing I've also known is that our elders always teach us, when they say work with what you got and what's in your hand, that was their way of saying be in the present, be in the right now. Work with what you got, because whatever you have is what you were born to use. When you think about it, when we were born naked, no pockets, no bags, no job, no education, no degrees. And yet all of our needs were met, because we were born with an energy of love and a sound mind. So we were born with a knowing that all of our needs were met. All we had to do was cry. We got fed, we got clothes. When it was our birthday, people took care of us, right? So to some degree, we want to also get back to being childlike in our minds and letting go of the fear of the next moment and just being present. You know, most children are just present. Even if they fall or they lose a toy or they get in a little scuffle, they brush themselves off and they get right back into the moment. So protect your moment. Protect your moment with everything you got. When you feel the stress of, oh my God, I don't know where my next meal, but I'm so great. Look, I got a piece of cilantro. I'm so grateful for this right now. I'm so grateful. This is all I got. This is all you got. Give gratitude to what you got, because when you give thanks, it actually opens the way for more. So I would literally take this stalk, and just experience the flavor. And think about all the times I took a whole spoonful of food and just shoved it down and didn't even honor the flavor of the food or the person who made it, right? So now that I have this, because the universe wants me to be focused and grateful for this. And let that be a metaphor. That's a dope metaphor. So we talked about getting in alignment, right? We talked about how my head wrap just keeps sliding. We're gonna have to do a whole, live on headwraps.com, because I definitely I'm in that club right now. But my hair's being conditioned. I got aloe on my scalp. I'm feeling good. So I'm getting my green on from head to toe, because I literally made some aloe, like a hair conditioner. So I cut the aloe up, I put it in the pan with a little bit of coconut oil, some vitamin E, some olive oil, and I just let that like simmer for maybe like 45 minutes. And then I strained it. I put it back in the coconut oil jar, and it got hard. It gets like firm again. And literally this morning when I got out of the shower and the steam was all in my scalp, I took the oil with the aloe and I just put it in between my braids, because I put my cornrows going back, and it just felt so good. And so for all the sisters that have been wearing, braids or protective styles where you can't really get to your scalp, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful to just touch my crown. So it's marinating right now. So I'm grateful for that, because I am, outside of my physical, I'm green. I'm emerald green from head to toe. From my crown to my toes, I'm emerald green. And that's what you want to be. You want green, you got to be green. You got to eat green. You know, you got to see green. And the imbalance of that is when you're green with jealousy or envy. The moment you covet what someone else has, you actually block your own blessing. You know, so if you see something that someone else has and you want it, what you have to do is go, oh, look at my sister there, look at my brother, look at my reflection, look at what the universe is showing me is possible for me because it's now in my midst, you know? So anyway, I digress. But we talked about getting in alignment. We talked about an alkaline drink. And now let's talk about how to remind. Let's talk about a good word. Last week, I shared a word from Eckhart Tolle. So I said this week would be your turn, Queen. So give us a good word on prosperity.
Okay, so I would like to share a word from Deepak Chopra.
Deepak Chopra, one of our partners friends.
Yes, from the 7 spiritual laws of success.
Good book.
The first law is the law of pure potentiality. And it states, the first spiritual law of success, the law of pure potentiality, says that our essential state is one of pure potentiality. Pure potentiality is pure consciousness. It is the field of all possibilities and infinite creativity. Let me. Our physical. Yeah. Let me just read our physical body, the physical universe, everything in the material world comes from the same place, a field of silent, unmoving awareness from which anything is possible. And I'll leave it at that.
You know what that felt like? Listen, it felt
like get from that, Queen.
No, you first, because I just want to marinate on that while I want any excuse to keep drinking this green drink. Right. So, but no, you read it, so you gotta tell me first what you get.
Okay. I get out of that is that all things are possible. All things are possible. And if we tap into the God within us, that we're able to manifest.
Yes.
And the best time to tap in is in the evening, at night, or in stillness. You have to be silent to be able to tap in.
Yes.
And usually ideas come to me at around 4-ish.
Morning,
around 4 a.m. because I feel like I'm the only one in your whole world up at that time. So in silence, that's when you're able to tap into that pure potentiality. And how about you, Queen?
Queen, that, like, I echo that. First of all, I really do believe that I have everything I need. Like, barring everything outside of me, what's in me is what got me to where I'm at. It wasn't anything but what was in me. And it was usually when I was trying so hard to make something happen that it didn't happen. And then when I would just let go, just surrender, it would just flow. The ideas would come, or the opportunity just be like out of nowhere. I would attract opportunities, information, people, experiences, and abundance. For all the times that I struggled, or just as a single mom, and there were times when, like, I was unemployed for like 2 years one time in my life when I was transitioning between careers. And literally I was down to like day by day, like, okay, we ate today, good, because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But I'm here, which means I got through it. My needs were always met. I never went homeless. I never went hungry. I might have not had as much as I would have liked, but I never starved. So that means that I had something in me that kept me going. Just when I was down to like this, when I was down to this, something in me, when I would just surrender instead of trying to push, and I would just surrender and say, okay, all right, well, this is what I'm gonna have today. This is what I'm working with. I'm grateful for that. And the moment I would do that, somebody would knock on my door and say, hey, you want to go to dinner? Right? So, and then even with my gymnasium, I remember when I was, I worked in the music industry for a long time. And I remember when my wisdom was kicking in and I would just get all these ideas and information, but I wouldn't do anything with it. And something inside of me was saying, yo, you need to really develop this content so you can teach people about how to heal in their mind. I didn't want to hear that because I was making paper. So I didn't listen. And then things just began to be revealed to me and I just wasn't listening. And then I attracted 3 car accidents in 3 months. My word. I was coming from a concert. I was driving on the Belt Parkway. I got off the highway. I fell asleep getting off the highway and went into a parked car. And it was because I was asleep, my body went with the impact and I didn't break bones out of fear. But I finally surrendered and was like, okay, and I gave it up. I walked away from paper and like my whole world opened up. And it wasn't about this versus that. It was time for me to do something different. And most of us are afraid to step into the unknown because we're working with what we used to. But if it's not working, it really just means it's time to grow. It's time to grow to another level and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Most of us are afraid to give this up because it's what we know. But sometimes in the space of letting go, the universe is going to remove it from you anyway. And then you don't have no choice. And it's usually when the rug is pulled out, it's usually when we in a box, when we don't have any other choice that we get still. So let that not be the reason. Just be still on purpose. And at night or at 4 a.m, which is actually the reason why it feels like nobody else is up, because between the hours of 4 and like 5:30 a.m. is a spiritual time on the earth. If there's a calmness, right? Vibrationally, that's a real thing. That is one of the best times to get up and just be still and be clear. Or like you said, right before you go to bed is the best time to like program your subconscious mind. It's the time when you can actually ask questions like, what's my next move? Before I go into the sleep state, ancestors, creator, what is my next move? What is it that I'm supposed to do to serve? How can I use my gifts to serve myself and others? And give gratitude and go to sleep. But I really do believe that everything we have comes from within, So I love that. And I appreciate Deepak for sharing that, the law of pure potentiality, because we all have it. The moment we stop looking from the left to the right and just sit on our square, it really does manifest and come forth. So that was good. That was really good. Just talking about prosperity, because people, people can say, Kheperah, what are you talking about? You don't know, I'm struggling right now. I do know what that's like. I do know. I have my own struggles now, trust and believe. But I know what it feels like to have, I couldn't get no food stamps. I could not qualify for public assistance because of my taxes, my tax bracket or whatever. I didn't qualify when I paid all those taxes to the government. And when it was time for me to get my benefit, I got nothing. So I do know what that feels like. And I am a single mother of 2. And I'm telling you, I'm speaking from experience. Like you said, Queene, if you just sit, just surrender, just sit, the answers will come. Just open the way. Breathe to let in the oxygen and the life. Get something alkaline in your system. And then be open to receive. And in the meantime, plant good words. Plant fertile words. Listen to songs about money. Listen to songs about Listen to songs. Matter of fact, laugh. Laugh as much as possible, because laughing raises the frequency. It makes you more magnetic and attractive. So we have Healing Through Laughter on Friday. Shout out to Mook Diamond and Hood Royalty Productions. We've been doing this every week now. Every Friday, it gets a little better, but people are laughing. And in the moment that you laughing, you're raising that frequency, you're actually planting a good seed for your next moment.
Yes.
Yeah. So Queene, I just want to say a toast to you. And again, any excuse to drink my drink.
Wait. Mine is, I dusted mine off.
Oh, you did? Okay, when did you do that? When I wasn't looking.
You wasn't looking.
I was running my mouth.
It was leftover. Actually, it was some leftovers from lunchtime. And then I added a little spirulina. It was actually the same ingredients that you used. I just added a little spirulina powder.
A little cheat. I love the green powders. I like Queen of Fua's Green Life. That is the truth. When I open it up, it's so rich. It's like lush and green. So vibrancy. It really turns your drink dark green.
Yes.
I also like Supernova Slum's Super Mega Greens is another one. It's not as dark and green as Queen's, but it has additional elements, you
Yeah,
know,
he
like
has a
ginger.
ginger.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the ginger takes it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one with the little man, like it's a farm thing. I forget what it's called, something greens. There's another one
Yeah.
that I also like that I get from Whole Foods when I can't get from the first
Is it
family.
the spirulina?
No, it's like some green. I'll text it to you. And then next
Okay.
week I gotta show everybody because we having these private conversations. But
Okay.
want to thank everybody, you know, for coming out and for in joining us in this Wellness Wednesday. I want to get to a point where we can even ask some questions. I see that somebody put this on a live, so next time I got to be able to invite you in, so it's not just me going when you're talking. But if there's anybody on the live, let's see if there's any questions. I don't see any. I see people just saying hello, and we appreciate that. So change is only death to the you that doesn't support your growth. I hear that. I hear that. So shout out to Demi. She just joined. Shout out to Totality of a Woman doing great work as well. Our partner, Stephanie Carnegie, doing amazing work in the wellness space.
Mm.
Yes. And so that was Wellness Wednesdays for this week. Definitely make sure that you breathe in thoughts of prosperity. And the moment you start feeling the fear of lack consciousness, you can decide what occupies space in your mind. You can decide who are the tenants in this space. And so you can evict those negative thoughts. You can decide that, you know what, right now, you don't live here anymore.
I
You
like
know what
that,
I'm
Kheperah.
saying?
Evict. You said
Yeah,
evict. Yes,
evict.
I like that. Because
Yes,
sometimes you
evict
can have
those
negative
thoughts.
thoughts. You can have negative thoughts renting space, renting a lot of real estate.
And you're the landlord. So you get to
Yes.
decide, like, you know what? I'm so used to you being here. I know what you look like. I know what you feel like. You don't feel good. I get that, right? I
Right.
want something new. I'm going to decide in this moment, I want to have some different thoughts. And you know what?
Right.
If I don't have what I want anyway, it doesn't hurt for me to shift the way I'm thinking.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen except that I'll feel better inside? And when I wake up tomorrow and I'm like, oh, I made it through the day, I realized that my needs were met. You know, I had enough nourishment in my body. I was in enough of a sheltered space that I could still be alive, right? And then it's time to thrive. But most importantly, remember your gifts and barter. Fair exchange, no robbery. If you can sew, if you can cook, if you can run errands, there are so many people that need what you have. So don't think, well, you know, nobody's going to want me to do. Just put it out there. You'd be surprised during these times, the things that you take for granted that you do easily, someone might just consider that gold. And it could even be just calling. You know, you might volunteer your time to start calling people and just giving them a good word. And in the process of that, someone on the other line might bless you. So let's see. Yes. So we are going to say blessings of wellness to everyone. Tune in next Wednesday for Wellness Wednesdays. And remember to align,
Line.
alkaline, remind.
Peace.
Align, alkaline, remind. Go ahead, Queen.
Align, alkaline, remind.
Yes. Peace
Thank
and
you.
love, everyone. Thank you.
Peace.